Welcome, everybody, to WNY High School Sportsline. I am Frank Wolf of WNYathletics.com. Thank you very much for joining us tonight. We've got a couple of really good guests I think you're going to be interested in hearing from. Sam Hare from Mount St. Mary's, and then we got Jeff Angeletti, the head coach from Panama, the Lady Panthers, down there in Panama. They made a great run. They're on their way to states, if you ask a lot of the experts from around here. But a pretty good show lined up for you tonight, and I want to thank everybody for tuning in once again. Another shout out to Kieran Edwards for putting all the graphics together. Thank you very much, Kieran. I really appreciate your hard work on this. After last night's show, some people did send me messages to give them the address once again for Dick Gallagher. If you want to send him a card, a well-wish card, you can send it right to me, WNY Athletics, care of Dick Gallagher, 405 North French Road, Suite 108, East Amherst, New York, 14228. Don't drop anything off here in my office. Please send it in the mail. I really don't want people coming by right now. You're not supposed to be going to places, convening and that sort of thing. So just send it to the mail. I'll get it to Dick. Don't you worry. Shout out to Tim Wegman. I know you're watching. Thank you very much for your support, Tim. He's one of our statisticians. We really appreciate everything you do for us, Tim. Joe Kraus sent me a message today. Thank you. And the Tories, thank you very much. I appreciate your message today, and as well Sam Watts from the Kicking Academy. Thank you very much. I really appreciate your thoughts, guys. Yesterday was an emotional ending a little bit there, but we got through it no problem. I do want to bring in our first guest, Miss Hare, from Mount St. Mary's, a three-sport athlete there from Mount St. Mary Academy. Without further ado, here is Sam Hare. Welcome back to WNY Athletics Sportsline. I am now joined by Sam Hare, a senior at Mount St. Mary's Academy in Kenmore. Hello, Miss Hare. How are you today?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing just fine. Thank you very much for joining me today. I wanted to have you on today because I know you're one of those special three-sport athletes from Mount St. Mary's, and you've had a very successful softball career. You're doing very well in volleyball, and you're also an indoor track athlete as well. Sam, how you doing with the isolation right now?
It's definitely been an adjustment. Hard to stay in the house, especially when the weather's not that great. But we have had a few nice days, so I definitely like to take advantage of that. Go out for a run, work out outside. I have a softball hitting net in my backyard that I try and do every day as long as it's not raining, like it is today, unfortunately. But yeah, definitely a big adjustment.
Is there a particular movie or TV show that you find yourself watching over and over again, or something you just can't stop watching, or is there a book you can't put down right now?
Definitely my new obsession has been with Disney Plus, going back and watching all the old Disney movies that I watched when I was a kid. I particularly like Boy Meets World, the show. I used to watch it with my brother all the time. So I've been binge watching that, along with like Grey's Anatomy. It's my go-to show. So
you're at Mount St. Mary's. I know you went to St. Amelia's first for middle school. Very nice parish that I belong to. But when you were leaving St. Amelia's, before you decided on Mount St. Mary's, were you looking at Sacred Heart or maybe Kenmore East or another school at the time? Why'd you end up choosing Mount St. Mary's?
I did look at a few other schools. I shadowed at Sacred Heart. My older siblings attended Niagara Catholic up in Niagara Falls, so I shadowed there as well. And then I came to the Mount. I went to a few open houses, and I've been to a lot of like summer camps for volleyball and softball. Got to connect with a lot of the coaches there. And once I shadowed the day, I knew I just felt I was home. I felt comfortable. I knew I'd be challenged with a lot of the coursework, especially into my senior year. I've seen how much it's paid off. At all the opportunities I've had at the Mount, I wouldn't trade it for anything.
So at the Mount, you came in as softball as your go-to sport, but your sophomore year, did you start playing volleyball as a 10th grade?
I started playing volleyball my freshman year as well.
Okay. But your sophomore year, having never played before, you became an all-Catholic. You were awarded as an all-Catholic player.
Yes.
And now that was just your second full year of actually playing volleyball. So that'd be pretty rewarding.
Yeah, Coach Brittany is kind of the one who got me involved in the Mount Volleyball program. I have her to thank for she really pushed me into trying out for the team my freshman year, and that really built up my confidence. And then sophomore year, that kind of carried over and showed great success.
Were you asked to play because they didn't want you to focus so much on softball, or did you just in your heart of heart wanted to be a multi-sport athlete?
I've kind of always wanted to be a multi-sport athlete. When I went to St. Amelia's, I played 5 different sports, including soccer and basketball, along with the 3 I've played at the Mount. So I played volleyball like my 7th and 8th grade years. I never expected to be asked to play varsity my freshman year, but I definitely loved having the opportunity, and I love being a multi-sport athlete.
And of course, you also do indoor track. Your events are the 55-meter, the 4x2, and then the long jump. Just talk about those 3 particular events and how they help you prepare for softball and even volleyball.
Yeah, definitely. The winter season is one of the longer seasons. I find that indoor track really does keep me in shape. I love staying busy, so that helps too. And with like the 55 and the 4x2, I really get to work on like my acceleration and my speed, and that carries over from volleyball and into softball with like running the bases, fielding fly balls, and all that. Our 4x2 has been really successful the past 4 years I've been doing indoor track. We this past year we qualified for sectionals, and then my freshman year we almost went to states. So we've definitely been very successful. Same with the 55. Usually all the girls who do the 55 are in like the top 20, 25 or so, and there's about 4 of us who do that.
And Sam, I'm being questioned. Someone wants to know if you plan on taking the Christmas lights down anytime soon.
Probably soon. I'll have time to get to it now.
Leave them up. It's already April. Leave them up.
I mean, you're right. I might take them down to go to college, but
yes, every dorm needs Christmas lights.
Yep.
Getting back to your athletic career at Mount St. Mary's, softball again. Is probably the better sport. You play travel in Lancaster. Is it not? Is it the Easton Heat?
Yes, correct.
Okay. Joel Patterson, of course, runs that program. He's also the head coach up at Niagara University, a school that is on your radar, I believe.
Yes.
Your sister went to Niagara.
She did.
Okay. Do you feel a sense of being pulled in that direction? I know you're looking at other schools. What other schools are you looking at besides Niagara? And where's your heart say you want to be?
I would say I'm being pulled to Niagara, but I definitely have a special connection with the school and with my travel coach coaching there as well. So I definitely have that connection. Also looking at possibly St. John Fisher into going into the pharmacy program there. Both schools are close to home, but a little bit far away. So in that aspect, I do like both schools a lot.
How important is it to have a university that's kind of like the Catholic faith background as well? I mean, you've had that since St. Amelia's and now here at Mount St. Mary's, so I'm sure that's pretty important to you as well.
Yeah, both do have that aspect, which I do like. Both are kind of a smaller campus too, tighter feel, kind of like high school. So yeah, those are 2 definitely important factors.
With softball, you were a 4-year all-Catholic player there, playing for John Rogowski, another well-known travel coach in the area. Just talk about the differences between playing for Coach Rogowski and Coach Patterson.
Differences, I really wouldn't say there's too much. John has put in so much work into the team, and so has Joel. Both practices, I feel like when I go to both of them, I know that I'm going to get a lot out of them. I know my travel practices, we usually would run like an hour and a half, and same thing for school, hour and a half to 2 hours, where we'd all put in that full effort. It's definitely like, it's hard to explain, but like I know when I go to those practices, I'm going to be able to get a lot out of it. The teamwork that we have, the team building that we do during every practice, I feel strongly connected to my teammates from the start. School, we've been starting practices this year as early as I think November, December, just open practices. So that's awesome. John puts in so much work and time into our team, and same with my travel team. So it's kind of very similar in that way.
Talking with Sam Hare, Mount St. Mary 2020 grad. on the WNY Athletics High School Sportsline. She is my guest today. Sam, I know that the last few weeks have been very trying for many of us, especially you. It looks like at least we know the Catholic championships aren't going to happen. We're waiting to see if there will be a spring season. That announcement is supposed to be coming later in April. How worried are you that there might not be a senior season for you on the softball diamond?
Definitely very worrisome for me. I'm trying to stay hopeful as well as the other seniors on the team. Especially, I know myself, this is the sport I've kind of given everything to. It's been a part of my life for so long, probably since I was about 8 or 9 years old. I've grown up around my sister playing since I was a baby, going to all her games, and I know how special that senior year is and being able to have a senior night and all that, but just to have one more game, I would trade anything for. Just to be out with my team and the other seniors to celebrate that with.
Well, I know we're all hoping and praying that that does happen for you and all the other seniors that are out there that have given so much to this game over the years. It just wouldn't be fair not to have at least a senior night. I know that in respect to graduation, that's also the original event date is probably going to be postponed at some point. So we hope that there is a graduation ceremony. You guys deserve it. We're looking forward to that with the other class of 2020 girls at Mount St. Mary's.
Yeah, definitely. There has been some talk about it, but nothing's set in stone yet. So we're all staying hopeful, try to communicate with each other every day just to keep each other's spirits up and all that.
Who's walked with you through, like, even middle school? Has there been like 1 or 2 girls that have walked with you, maybe even early as 2nd, 3rd grade, kindergarten? Anybody in particular that you've kind of like been with for this entire journey through school?
Yeah, actually, another girl, Mr. Pernick, sent you information on Victoria Port. She's been by my side since kindergarten. We went to St. Amelia's together. We've kind of grown up being best friends. We haven't played any sports together. She plays lacrosse and does gymnastics and cheerleading, but we've been through it all together. We support each other in everything that we do. And this last year has kind of been really important for us because we know we're not going to end up at the same college. So just trying to get those memories in before we're off doing different things. But she's been my rock through most of my life.
And out of all these experiences that you've had at Mount St. Mary's the last 4 years, what are some of the key moments you've had there? Or what are some of the memories you're going to take with you on to wherever you decide to go to school?
Definitely a lot of memories. I'd have to say out of sports, I'm involved with a lot of community service at the school. Definitely always going to remember our food drives that we do this year and last year were one of our biggest food drives that me and Victoria were presidents of this year. So definitely going to remember that, just all the bonds that I have with my teachers. I miss being in school, talking to them every day. And sports-wise, this year, volleyball was a really big year. Being able to celebrate 1,000 digs with my team and just remembering all the memories we've shared. And last year's softball season, I think, was very memorable. We've always had the goal of reaching states all my 4 years. That's been my goal. And last year we came up so close, just falling to St. Mary's in the championship 4-1. But that's something with the team. I remember we won our semifinal game and we were all just so happy and so excited to be going to the championship. The first time that the team's been there in 11 years. And it was just something I'll never forget. And I hope that we get to continue that this year.
Another nice aspect of this softball career of yours is your sister's on the staff at Mount St. Mary's. She's one of your assistant coaches.
Mm-hmm.
So it would be nice to be able to go through that ride with her as well, I'm sure.
Yeah, it's something I've loved being coached by her. I love learning from her. And one of the things I look forward to most is going to practice and learning from her and getting to experience it with her. And she pushes me so hard, and the love we have for each other is just huge. And I just want to be able to have one more season with her by my side.
Well, we certainly hope you get that. Sam, I don't want it to get too emotional, but I know this is a tough conversation to have.
I know.
Is it dusty in here? Seriously, though, if you were to hit random play on your iPad or whatever you use for music right now, what are the first couple of songs that would come up?
I'm a big country fan. So my first probably 2 or 3 songs would be either from Luke Combs or Thomas Rhett or Luke Bryan. They're kind of my 3 artists I have on shuffle. Especially when I'm outside hitting balls on the tee. I listen to country all the time. So
I heard of 2 of those 3. So that's better than I did yesterday with Zach Boyd. I didn't know anybody he mentioned, but I definitely know 2 of those 3. What would you say to a young girl right now, 7th or 8th grade, starting to look at high schools? What would you say to her about Mount St. Mary's and why it was the right choice for you?
Definitely, I would tell her I would never trade these 4 years for anything. I've been exposed to so many new opportunities, and the teachers there, I have so many close bonds with teachers and even coaches, sports teams, just the friends I've been able to make. All the 4 years I've been on the sports team, we've been so close to each other. And I just haven't seen anything like that before I came to the Mount. And I know a lot of other teams are very close, but I just feel something different at the Mount. We're all close. We're all a community. We're a family inside the school. And I wouldn't trade it for anything.
Well, I know recently my niece Sophia received her acceptance letter to Mount St. Mary's, and she was overjoyed and very happy that she's going to be attending Mount St. Mary's in Kenmore next fall. So I'm sure to share this interview with her, and hopefully she'll be able to get something out of it as well. She plays softball herself.
Oh, that's awesome.
Basketball. So
nice.
Sam, I want to thank you very much for joining me on the WNY Athletics High School Sports Line today. Appreciate your time.
Thank you so much for having me.
No problem. I'm hoping to talk to you again real soon.
Logistics Plus is a global transportation provider headquartered in Erie, PA, with locations worldwide, including right here in Western New York. Logistics Plus is consistently recognized as a fast-growing transportation and logistics company, great supply chain partner, top freight broker, leading project cargo manager, and a great place to work. With a strong passion for excellence, our 500-plus employees put the plus in logistics. Call our Buffalo office today for an efficient, personal approach for all of your transportation needs.
Thank you once again for joining us on WNY Athletics High School Sports Line. I am now joined by the head coach of the Panama Lady Panthers girls varsity basketball team, Coach Jeff Angeletti. He has just finished up his 6th season as a head coach. He's been with the program for 12 years now. Jeff, thank you very much for joining me.
I appreciate it, Frank. Thanks for having me.
No problem. Jeff, I wanted to get you in here as soon as possible to talk to you about how this season ended. I know it's not the way any of us wanted it to end, but for your girls in particular, they were playing some awesome basketball. Winners of 7 straight. But the season came to an unfortunate end for everybody, hockey, boys, girls. What was it like talking to those seniors especially, and then the other girls on the team, letting them know that, hey, girls, we're not going to have a championship. We're done.
I tell you what, we've had some pretty tough losses. We played in states and 2 points away from a state championship. And this was by far harder than anything that we've ever had to, at least in a locker room like that you had the opportunity to, at least prove your worth. It was very difficult. And it was kind of a rumor on my way to practice there at about 3:00. We saw something out on Twitter. And my assistant immediately texted me. She was on her way to practice and said, "Is this true?" So I went right down to our AD and said, "Hey, what do you hear about this?" And he goes, "Go back to practice. I'll make some phone calls." And it wasn't 10 minutes later, he came in with our superintendent, Bert Lickis, and said, "Unfortunately, girls, we're going to have to call it."
It had to be really hard for you, not just as a head coach, but also a father. Your daughter, Natalie, senior. I mean, it had to be very emotional for you to deliver that news to her as well and go through that process with her. I can't imagine.
Oh, it was tough. She's been there from the get-go as far as, we brought her up in 7th grade, played a little bit, and was a factor from 8th grade on. So, every coach thinks when you start a year, it's going to be your year. And for whatever reason, with the chemistry that we had and some of the games and teams that we played kind of prepped us for this. we definitely thought it was a good shot of winning it all this year. So it was real tough and tough for her, tough for the other seniors. They worked so hard, and some of those other seniors were there with us the last time we went to states a few years back. So they know the work and the commitment that it takes to get to that level, and we thought we were at that level.
Yeah. Overall, you guys went 20-2. You did play Williamsville South. That was kind of a late game added in towards the end of the year there, which was a good matchup. I know you guys didn't come out on the winning end of that game, but that was a game that really probably got you girls focused on what it took to really get to over the hump, because it seemed to me and a lot of other high school observers that this Panama team in particular was on their way and had a very strong case to make for that Class D overall state championship. So, having put all that work in only to come up short, no doings of your own, that I still can't get past that, to be honest. I can't get past that, but it is what it is. And, the blow that you guys were delivered is the same that's been blown to, Williamsville North hockey and Orchard Park basketball, their team, Will South, and, Lancaster boys basketball teams that just, and then Timon and St. Joe's, if you think of it that way, O'Hara. Right. But it was an incredible season for you guys still. I mean, it was still a successful season. You guys are the Section 6 champions. I thought a turning point in the year was maybe that early season loss to Franklinville, only to get them back at the end of the year. That was a real big win for your program, and it kind of puts away any doubt that, you guys deserved it, because you did beat Franklinville. You can, at the end of the day, you can say we did beat them, avenged an earlier season defeat. And Franklinville is a team that's been dynamite the last few years. They made a run to states as well. So how are you guys feeling after that Franklinville win at the end of the year?
Well, Al and I, we've developed an awesome friendship. We've gone to many clinics, just, through the rivalry. We've become great friends. Our daughter's playing the same AAU team. So as far as that goes, that was iron sharpening iron. Whether you win or you lose, it's going to be a win no matter what, especially now that we don't have to go through each other for playoffs this year. We knew that we had to set that up, and playing them in a neutral court at St. Bonaventure the beginning of the year, that was really neat for our program and for our girls. And, unfortunately, we didn't come out on the winning end of things, but, you get a lot out of some of those losses. And then it's for the opportunity to, get a little redemption and play at our place at Panama. That was really neat, and just a playoff atmosphere. It almost felt like a state sectional type game, and it just went back and forth just like you'd expect. And either team could have won it. We just were the lucky team at the end to pull it off, and kudos to that program and everything that Allen's accomplished. And Franklinville's just a special team with some special players.
Talk about some of the players on your team in particular, maybe the seniors that you had to say goodbye to unceremoniously for the most part. How are they communicating now? Are you still in touch with them, or is it because of what's happened, it's kind of those are tougher conversations to have now more than ever? Or are you still talking to some of those players? And who are some of the players that you're going to remember long time from now?
We've been in contact, through texting mostly. Sometimes occasionally here and there, but it's mostly been through, cell phones. But yeah, we had 4 special seniors this year, and you're familiar with Sally Watson, who played on the football team. Sally was a role player for us, but man, the motivation that she had off the bench, and gave us some great time, just very inspirational, and always the bench energy, she would get them going. It was great. And then we had 3 seniors, Kylie Odell, who was a starter for us this year, worked her way up, and of course the 2 captains, Kylie Schnars and Natalie, they've been a fixture of the program for quite a few years. Kylie, unfortunately, was 41 points away from her 1,000th point this year. 41, and you got to believe that, I'm not going to say she's going to get 41 points against Alba, but probably would have cut that in half, and we get through that game. You got to believe she's going to get that 1,000 point probably at states.
Yeah.
So I really, really feel for her, and she's just been a special player for us.
She's an exceptional athlete. Also a volleyball player, I believe.
Yeah. She was part of that state team this year that went to the championship game, and just a dynamic player. Going to Mercyhurst next year for volleyball, so going to be playing at the next level, which I think she could have played basketball probably, for a lot of schools as well. And then Nat, I know she's been here. Like I said, we moved her up in 7th grade for playoffs, and was a part of all 3 years of states. It was tough. That, like you said, that first conversation when our administration came in, but she's getting through it just like all the rest of them. A lot of special times and memories. She was just about at 1,800 points.
Yeah.
So real close, and just about 1,400 rebounds.
Yeah, I mean, these girls had phenomenal careers, and I'm glad you mentioned Sally. But Jeff, you did a phenomenal job this year. 20-2 is no joke of a record. I don't care what class it is. 20-2 is a phenomenal record. You get the big game against Will South. You matched up against those girls. It was a very good game. And then, of course, with Franklinville 2 times, people just really look forward to that game. Those 2 games every year. And, Jeff, we're hoping that, we're back on the court before you know it, and that next year is you can build off of this. We'll have to wait and see. But we believe that between you and Franklinville, you guys gave us a real good chance of winning that Class D state title this year. And it sucks for everybody, but I think it's going to make these girls a lot better down the road. If having gone through this experience, just imagine how tough they're going to be in the years to come.
Exactly. And I think our team has, they're looking at it that way. And the fact is only one team ends with a W. Well, this year, 8 teams ended with a W, and we can say that we're one of those teams. So it's kind of nice to
look at it. Absolutely. But
positive.
Jeff, I really appreciate you spending some time with me on the show here today. Sportsline, hopefully we'll get you on here again. But best of luck to you guys down there, and stay healthy, my friend.
You as well, Frank. Thank you very much.
Next up is Frank Wolf. Good morning. Thanks for putting this together, Greg. Coach Pry, my question has to do more with recruiting. And what would you tell a high school kid, class of 20, class of 21, how best prepare during this time of crisis Schools such as PSU maybe taking a look at someone. What can they do to stay focused at this time, to stay on your radar?
Yeah, I think, as always the case with recruiting, it goes back to relationships. And, there's a lot of time that everybody has right now to FaceTime, to get on the telephone, to continue to get to know one another. There's virtual tours of campuses. There's the ability to interact with more than just one person on a staff, more than just one person in a family. You have time to do all those things. And in the end, facilities are fantastic, but it's about the people in our program and the people in that family that we're recruiting. And this is the opportunity to get to know everybody a little bit better, a little closer, to make sure that everybody, both ends, are making the right decisions. Some guys are feeling a lot of angst. Some families are motivated through this to make an earlier decision. We just try and provide the guidance that, what commitment means and what that's all about. And then some guys are really putting pause on this thing and going to wait till this thing kind of clears up and they can get back around and do the things they want to do. So I think for everybody, it's a unique experience, and everybody's going to cut their own path with it. We've got a good plan in place. We're relationship based, and so that we've still been able to continue our work and how we want to go about things for the most part. Obviously not ideal.
Thank you. Okay, there we go. Now's the time to reach out to some of those coaches and see who's paying the most attention to you right now. But I want to thank everyone for joining in tonight on WNY Athletics High School Sportsline. I really appreciate it. Thank you very much. For those of you that are out there, support your local restaurants that are can really use your help right now, your patronage. Whatever you can do, get out there and support the local companies, local businesses, best you can. And stay safe, stay indoors. Until tomorrow night, we will be joined by Garrett Hinsdale of Panama. So we'll see you tomorrow night on the WNY High School Sportsline. Good night, everyone.